Hello and welcome to Fin Business. I'm in conversation with Abhijit Shah, who's the CTO of DCB Bank. Abhijit, welcome on the show.
Thank you.
DCB is the fastest growing bank when it comes to the technology, whether it's biometric ATMs or the new facilities which you have provided to your customers.
Right.
It's quite interesting. When you're working as a CTO at DCB Bank, the question that I have for you is, what is your technology strategy?
So at DCB, we have inculcated cutting-edge technologies for our core solutions. That's point number one. And we have been in continuous touch with our fintech partners through our programs like Innovation Carnival. And through this experience, we get the best of the breed solutions. From a strategy point of view, there are three dimensions that we work with. One is the customer experience. Second is the operational efficiency. Third is the cyber security.
Right.
And innovation is a theme that cuts across all these three dimensions. And that is where we leverage Innovation Carnival to our best.
How do you actually acquire particular technology? And how do you judge the parameters or the after effects of particular technology that you have adopted?
Okay, that's a very interesting question because judging the after effects would be reactive. So as a bank, we proactively assess the complexity of the technology, the skills available for a specific technology. We assess the community support for a particular technology. We also assess the kind of references where this has been in production. And after all these evaluations, we kind of adopt a technology. And that is the way we have been doing so far.
So when you adopt any product for any need of the bank or to provide any solution, you must be adopting dozens of products. How long does it take for that product to perform to a smoothness or seamless level?
So important aspect here is the robust change management system that the bank has. One is that, and reskilling is a very important thing that the bank does on an ongoing basis. This has been guided by our innovation team, and at the same time, we get the insights from our fintech partners.
Okay.
Now, with this, there's a continuous process of reskilling our employees. At the same time, the change management process is intact. And with this, it typically takes between 3 to 6 months to kind of settle down a new technology within the bank.
But is migration a big challenge?
Typically, migration is a challenge for most of the banks, but if you have the right controls in place, it certainly is not that big challenge.
What is that DCB doing right now? If you look at yourself or compare yourself with giant private banks or big global banks.
So in fact, multiple things. I mean, there is no one answer for this. I mean, if you look at API banking or open banking, it has become a global concept.
Yes.
So we as a bank have built a complete robust API platform which enables us to kind of integrate with our business partners, with our customers, with our fintech partners and our banking solutions. So that becomes a very important platform for us with regards to creating advanced business models. Secondly, we have built our core capabilities with regards to robotic process automation. And we have been able to really develop around 40 bots which are addressing some 40 applications. And we are able to leverage a lot of productivity gains by using these bots. Third is we have invested in chatbots. So when it comes to chatbots, we have already rolled out chatbots for our internal customers, internal stakeholders. And we are going to extend this to our external customers as well very soon. Third important thing is SME platform. Now, I would really take pride in saying and talking about SME platform because this is a completely homegrown platform for us, which automates the complete process of customer onboarding for SME. Fourth important aspect that I would like to touch upon is with regards to the big data. We have set up a complete end-to-end platform for big data, which specifically uses machine learning, deep machine learning capabilities to deliver predictive and perspective analytics. That is one. Secondly, we are working on developing a real-time customer profile using these technologies, where we will be in a position to get a complete 360-degree view of our customers. By doing that, we will be in a position to do a complete targeted interaction with our customers.
So while adopting technology, what is that one thing that you keep in mind? Is it that operational efficiency, the profitability, business, or just we should have higher technology because we want to compete with other banks? What is that is the priority?
No, so as a bank, we want to ensure we give seamless and frictionless experience to our customers. That is the first thing that we want to do. Secondly, we want to ensure that we have a high level of security for all our systems. So that comes as a second priority. Of course, not a second priority, but the most important thing. Third, we want to ensure we give controls in the hands of the customer to decide what level of security he really wants. We want to give the configuration in the hands of the customer to decide what level of personalization he wants. So these are the various things which we want to build for our customer, and that is how we kind of decide on what we want to really adopt with regards to technology.
True. So the gone all those days when you actually used to money order people to a different places. Now the money is traveling more faster than the aircraft. Instantly has been transferred to anybody's account. I mean, I'm not talking about the cross-border transactions. I'm talking only about the domestic transactions where the money is transferred instantly. Looking at these massive changes, what kind of major change do you see in banking industry in next 1 to 2 years?
A very interesting question and very rightfully asked. See, the important thing is the digital landscape in India is continuously evolving. If you really look at what our Aadhaar has done to us, what UPI has done to us, there are multiple entities which have come in play, like Aadhaar, NSDL, your bank, your fintechs. They come together, and it's a multi-entity kind of a business model. And these entities talk to each other on a real-time basis. You need to have an extremely strong and robust integration platform, which I mentioned earlier. It's a kind of an API platform. At the same time, it has to be extremely secure.
Right.
Second important aspect that comes to my mind is with regards to a customer experience, which is frictionless, but at the same time secure. That's important. Thirdly, machine learning and deep machine learning. How you are going to leverage that with regards to adaptive cybersecurity. You cannot be doing a postmortem after an incident, but you need to know beforehand what is going to go wrong. Then you need to have a kind of artificial intelligence capabilities to understand your customer better, to deliver a hyper-personalized kind of an experience.
Yes.
This becomes very important because the generation that we are kind of dealing with right now, it's not the same that we had, say, a decade back.
Right.
So it's more demanding, it's more intelligent, it's more smart. And last but not the least, it's with regards to Internet of the Things. So Internet of the Things is going to play a very important role even in the financial industry. So how do you kind of ensure the integration points with IoT, security with the IoT, authentication of multiple IoT devices,
Right.
authorization of multiple parties trying to touch that data. So I think these are the various dimensions that is going to be the future of us in a banking space.
Like you mentioned, millennials and whole world is on Facebook and social media today. I won't ask you whether people will use WhatsApp or Amazon for a payment transaction tomorrow because they're already using it. M-commerce is nothing but somehow managing money and transferring money. How feasible it will be for banks in future to provide transactions or to allow customer to do payments on Instagram, Facebook?
So there are two ways to look at it. One is the ease to the customer, where most banks want to do it, where most fintechs want to do it. But at the same time, is that secure? Exactly. So the regulators will have their own say in this, and they will ensure that they want to make this ecosystem more robust and secure. So these are the two aspects that one needs to look at. Secondly, look at the unbanked population in India. It's far more than the banked population. The banked population is far more demanding with regards to the kind of expectations they have with the technology.
So as a CTO, how tough it is for you to choose the right technology, which will last at least for a few years, not for so many years, because we all know that it's very short term, but still.
It is a difficult thing. It's a difficult job. So basically, and why I said it is difficult, because the digital landscape is continuously evolving. See, had you asked this question to me a decade ago, I would have still said it's okay.
Right.
But now, the technologies are changing every year.
Right.
Every 6 months I have something new.
Right.
Every 6 months I have some new fintech which is coming up with some new solution,
Right.
which a bank would want to adopt,
Right.
or any other entity would want to adopt.
Right.
So with that faster pace, evaluating a right technology and then extrapolating that technology with regards to your roadmap becomes a very important decision.
Okay. So let me cross question here then. How do you actually evaluate the technology when it's so tough today because you never know what will work?
Right. So there are a couple of things here. One is about whether this technology is going to solve your current problems, whether it's going to address your current challenges, how easy it is to get people on this particular technology, what is the kind of support I need from this technology, which all places this technology has gone live, with which banks. So there should be some good industry reference for this technology. So certainly that needs to be aligned with my current needs. At the same time, how futuristic this technology is going to be. Does this technology enables integration with the upcoming technology? Does this have enough touch points? Has the design, has the architecture of this technology is far more loosely coupled architecture rather than a tight coupled architecture. True. So there are multiple dimensions with regard to design of the product, with regards to architecture of the product, how scalable this product is going to be, how expandable this product is going to be in the future. So there are multiple things that you need to really look at when you choose this technology.
So great, Abhijit. I will stop here on that note. That was really nice talking to you. It was really insightful information for us and our viewers. Thank you so much for sharing that information.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching FinBusiness.